an independent survey that we had on the first 100 reports focuses on quality of disclosure, only on quality of disclosure. It does not and cannot make any comments on the performance because that's the journey. The report is ready, but I'll share some interim trends with you. Can you please go to the next one? This is what the report generally says, that ethics, transparency and accountability are well reported. Now, well reported can also be subjective, but it was basically 3 criteria. Consistency information, completeness of information, comprehensiveness of reliability of information. That was the only way to judge the quality of report. So some people said, okay, we will only answer this question because that question asks us only how many women are there. Yeah? So we will only say, okay, fine this. But some explained a little bit more. Some of that, not only women workforce is there, but some of them are in senior management. This is what we are doing. So they are going beyond the question. So they are making it more comprehensive. So the quality of disclosure then improves. Your data points then come much more clearly, and many more. So these are the criteria on which some of these general trends are appearing. Substantive under-information pertaining to percentage of products that are recycled, for example. Now see, these things did not exist at all at one place. And expect more and more data to come about, you know. Weak systems for equal opportunity in employee training. And now to the explanatory aspects of it. Stakeholder engagement focuses only on CSR activities for disadvantaged communities. Interesting finding that when they talk about social, then now that it is social set is pretty huge. It could be your employees, yeah. But traditionally, it has been your community or even within community disadvantaged. Now that we have a clear definition, this sort of gives you the evidence of the practice, you know. And then we have to see what can be done better, yeah. Next slide, please. Monitoring of human rights related complaints needs greater transparency. There is hardly any grievance redressal systems on human rights. A critical missing element is on environmental strategy or roadmap. So people say we do a lot of stuff on environment, but there's hardly any strategy to be found within companies which is actually has evolved through critical assessment of the challenges. Material issues addressed in policy advocacy, not necessarily pertaining to the sector it belongs to. I don't think it is a critical judgment. I think if you feel that there is a larger public good that you need to support, and if you're advocating for that, that should be encouraged and welcomed. So there are, you know, it's not everything is a critical negative thing. These are just trends that are coming through. CSR, the sole focus here, impact assessment not given to principle number 8. In principle number 8, impact has not been given importance. There is no impact evaluation of the projects. And I think as we move forward, the law doesn't say that you do impact analysis. But that's a good model, good practice to follow. So, unless we encourage those things will not become mainstream. And ISA will have to play a great role with respect to encouraging more effective models of what we have already seen. Not many sectors label their products over and above what is mandated by local laws. So, actually, business responsibility in CSR fundamentally asks you to go beyond compliance. You cannot do it within compliance. The law is just setting the minimum. Excellence is voluntary. Excellence is going beyond compliance. Don't worry about the text. We've been talking about what are the other constituencies. Financial institutions, investors, banks. How do they deploy their capital? Are they deploying it to more socially conscious, environmentally compatible businesses? Oh, well, no. They are not. You know, it is, can they get their loans repaid in time? But who will create a demand for this responsible business behavior? They are an important constituency. We have done a lot of work together with good, credible agencies in creating a dashboard, for example. Look at these risks. Are you looking at these risks? Creating guidance tools. Other important aspect is, where do you put corporate governance and business responsibility? together, fundamental change within the company will not happen. I can be very transparent, I can still be environmentally irresponsible, socially unjust, my impact may still not be holistically value creating, and I can be transparent. I can have very well, but I will not touch on these aspects anymore in any substantive way. You know, annual reports till now did not. But now actually not only this clause in the New Companies Act, a lot of other things that you see around corporate governance. The aspect of disclosure on many more facets actually gives some companies are saying, oh, too much disclosure, government is asking for too much. But in the long run, it is better because information, you can use it any which way. You can let others use it against you. You can use it for yourself. And their information is one thing which will not reverse its direction. There will be more of it. So can you be proactive in furnishing more? Can you look at, somebody asked a question, how do you report negatively or about your negative things? You disclose about the possible risks. It's a very, I was a non-financial risk advisor. I looked at mining companies' reports. I looked at their websites. Some international companies, they actually told their stakeholders on their portals, this is the risk. This is an extraneous risk. This is the political risk. This is my own risk. And they got, on a longer term basis, much better deals with the government. Can you move to the next?
Neha, can you just wrap up a bit fast?
Yeah, I'm ending this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've talked about this. Can you go to the next, please? We have talked about this. Also the next now. Next. Ah, thank you already. So what we've tried to do is to give you both the broader context and also the details of the kind of work that ISC and GIZ and ISCA more and more is undertaken. This is the start of a journey which cannot be completed without collaboration, without discussion, without debating, without disagreeing. I think it's all right to disagree, but we have to be together in this journey. Thank you so much.
We would now request our Director General, Mr. P. Roy, to hand over a memento to Ms. Neha Kumar. I would now request the last speaker of our last session to come up on the dais, Ms. Mayuri Mishra. Ms. Mayuri Mishra is the Chief Program Executive, NF-CSR. And with this, I would request Mayuri to take on with her presentation.
Short but a very valuable session. I represent the Learning and Development Division of the NF-CSR at IICA, and I'm going to take off from where Dr. Chatterjee left or asked you all. So who will do your CSR? Have you thought about it? And who exactly is qualified and trained to be the fulcrum of all your CSR initiatives? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to apprise you of all the various programs and initiatives being launched by the IICA to bridge this gap of trained and qualified human resources in the CSR space. So, quickly looking at a very macro, brief picture of what Section 135 and how Section 135 has changed the entire game. Data says approximately 16,000 companies are qualified which comes under the ambit of this law, out of which we are expecting something like 20,000 crore to come as CSR capital annually. Therefore, there is a critical need for success for qualified CSR professionals, capable implementing agencies, and impactful need-based projects. To fill this gap, the National Foundation of CSR, one of the verticals within the IICA, the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, has taken some initiatives and formed some various verticals to cater and fill this gap that has come up in light of this new law. We have 4 verticals, which is one comprising of the implementing agency or the IA hub, which will list all the non-profits, credible non-profits which are there in the country for the corporates to reach out and get this information. Then we have a CSR portal and data analytics, which is going to be collecting all the data. We have CSR project and documentation, where all the communication and the case studies, etc. will be developed. I'm here to speak about the learning and development vertical of NFCSR at IICA. So IICA is launching courses in CSR to open avenues to work as CSR professionals in industry and civil society organization, and to develop CSR professionals at different seniority levels across to bridge the gap of human resources in the CSR market. So the current ongoing programs which are being launched, which have been launched, are ICP, and as Dr. Chatterjee has already mentioned, ICP is the 9-month certificate program in CSR, which the admissions are still on, and we have something like 350 candidates who have already registered. We are still taking some more admissions, and we are starting the program from October 13th. There is the short-term program in CSR, which is primarily looking at the professionals and the working executives to cater to their demands and the industry needs for CSR, and as I go further, I'm going to give you more details on it. Then we have the CSR advisory, which is where we do a 360-degree hand-holding to corporates, where we take you from policy formulation to execution and impact evaluation of your CSR initiatives. So, talking more about the 9 months ICP program, it covers a theoretical and a practical aspect of CSR. So you're qualified and you're trained. There are both the aspects which are covered in this course. It again focuses on CSR policy formulation to execution and impact evaluation. It talks about how this entire concept started, what were the different international frameworks which were present, and how this entire concept of CSR has evolved to where it is right now. It's a combination of an online course and contact classes, where we have 15 teaching centers across India. We have tied up with the premier institutes like the ISB, the IMI Calcutta here in Calcutta itself, IIFT and many others, to be the learning centers for the ICP course, and to make sure that each candidate gets the due and the right amount of attention. We have 1:10 teacher-student ratio in the contact classes. There is, at the end of this 9 months, there is a non-profit and NGO attachment and a corporate attachment for live project execution, so that along with getting an academic sense of what CSR is, the learners and the candidates are able to have hands-on experience in the real know-how and execution of what CSR is all about. There are city-specific student group for active and collaborating learning, and post this, there's going to be placement which is going to be facilitated by the IICA, and a certificate will be issued from the IICA on completion of this course. Now moving on to the short-term program in CSR, like I said earlier, the program focuses and it is specifically designed for working professionals, exploring the challenges and opportunities of the current CSR scenario. So there are 3 programs that we are starting with for now. One is the Director Orientation Program, which is a half-day intensive course for the directors, focusing entirely on what, in this entire gamut of Section 135, what exactly should a director know. So it's a very target audience oriented workshop that we are going to be creating under the short-term programs. And then the Management Development Program, 2 to 3-day programs for CSR heads, general managers, senior managers, leaders of implementing agencies, middle management. So this is going to be, middle management are people who are going to do the CSR work. So the workshop focuses on what really they need to know. They probably need to know more than probably what a director orientation, what a director needs to know, because end of the day this man is going to be contributing to the CSR report and will be reporting to the directors. So there is a management development program. Then we have launched a 4-month very focused certificate program. It's a very exclusive program along with the ISP. This is for the mid-management keen on lateral entry into the senior position in CSR. So for example, if you're in a public sector unit and you've been in the HR department for some 15 years and you want to move on to CSR, so this course is designed for these people who can then get trained in it and get a lateral entry into the CSR division of the company and rise. So, also along with this, we recently signed an MOU with DGR, which is the Directorate General of Army Retirement for ex-Army servicemen, and we are making specific training modules for these ex-servicemen to facilitate transition into the CSR in this new industry of CSR. Last is the CSR advisory services, where we are, like I mentioned earlier, if a company approaches IICA that I have no clue how to go about CSR, what do I do? We handhold the company from CSR policy making stage right up till what projects should be chosen, how they should be implemented, the reporting, everything right up to the impact evaluation. So throughout you have an IICA certificate that you are going the right way, you're going in the right direction, rather than just getting hazy in between and then trying to figure out if this was right or wrong. So for our planned CSR advisory, we are just handpicking niche companies to help them out with this entire gamut of CSR services. All these programs, right down from ICP 9 months to all these short-term programs, are being delivered through premium institutions and development sector advisories such as KPMG, Ernst & Young, across India for different industries and positions within an organization. Moving on, I've talked about the CSR advisory services. Besides this, we are also involved in doing gap analysis in compliance with Section 135. So the entire vision here is, if I may give an example, that if a corporate wants to put its CSR money in education, and it says that I'm going to do an initiative or a program which will get these children to enroll in education programs. Now, what gap analysis does is, it is trying to figure out where the gap really is. So what it really, for example, in the education system, the gap really is in the learning outcomes, not in the enrollment of the children. So this entire exercise of gap analysis is to apprise the corporates to better plan their CSR projects and initiatives, which can be then put in a very focused way on these gaps so that we get a good impact and they get more bang for the CSR money that they are putting in. Yeah, so that's it. Do you have any questions for me? Yes, please. Never mind, you may ask me.
If the MOU, I think the challenge before BCCI and getting correct right now is how to become a certified training provider. So, for this distance learning, what we were talking about, what is that website I have to visit? How do I enroll my people? I think the nuts and bolts are required. You understood the broad structure.
See, if I may just repeat your question, you're asking how.
You will see there is a website called www.iica.in. Please write this down. www.iica.in. When you go to the home page, you will come to a section called EOI, Expression of Interest. When you click there, you will find information which relates to how you can become partners as organizations in our 4 or 5 programs that Mayuri spoke about. There's also one very important element on our home page, which is if you are an NGO, how do you register on our implementation agency hub? Again, on the home page, there is a specific item called IA Hub, Implementation Agency Hub. If you click there, it's a very user-friendly way of registering yourself as one of the NGOs who wish to come up on our site. Of course, in order to register, there are a number of things you need to comply with, number of documents that you need to give for us to verify, and only then you can register. But the process is a very user-friendly one. So in one composite website, we have provided you with opportunities to partner, to train, and to also get the registration to the implementation agency hub. It's all in one place, very easy to spot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I hope my team is taking note of this, because we have to get into action mode straight away.
You can also, of course, connect with either Swagata or with Mayuri. Their own cards are already with you, certainly from there. We also want, please. Do that. Now, with the Bengal Chamber of Commerce particularly, we came here with a very clear and definitive agenda. Some of the STPs, the short-term programs that we want to do in Eastern India, we will use the BCCNI as our central hub for Eastern India. So many of the short-term programs and others which we wish to launch will actually emanate from here. That's why we have them as on-board partners. And as we navigate the course in light of the MOU that we have signed, we will hold a number of these discussions, not just in Kolkata, but in different areas of this region. So, as I say, keep your eyes skinned.
The ICP course actually flashes on our homepage. The 9-month course.
Incidentally, our website, when you go to it, it has a number of these red flashers. So anything that's new, you cannot miss it. It's something that attracts your attention immediately. So, welcome to the site.
So BCCI team, please look sharp. Please MD by all right, thank you very much.
Thank you. I would now request our Director General P. Roy to hand over memento to Ms. Mayuri Mishra.
Mary, I'm not going to take your memento, it's yours. Right here.
Thank you, sir. With this, we end our today's session. We thank to IICA, to Dr. Bhaskar Chatterjee so very much for coming down and signing an MOU with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.